By now, we've all heard about the shocking death of Rob Reiner, famed Hollywood director, and his wife. So let me ask you something. When somebody dies violently, especially somebody this famous, what do you expect to see first? Other famous people expressing their grief, shock, commemorations, and a memory or two, right? But before we get into the details of how Rob Reiner and his wife Michele were killed, I gotta show you these reactions from of your favorite politicians. California Governor Gavin Newsom praised Reiner's filmography and his contributions to humanity. Kamala Harris talked about how his work shaped generations of Americans and how he deeply cared about the future of the country. Barack Obama reflected on Reiner's belief in people and the values he tried to live out through his work. This all sounds pretty normal, right? Exactly what you'd expect for somebody with this type of cultural footprint. But then Donald J. Trump had to post and chime in. Instead of a condolence, Trump turned Reiner's death into a political takedown, even introducing a term I'm pretty sure he's probably going to introduce into the DSM, Trump derangement syndrome. He framed the moment about himself and his long-standing beef with Reiner. Rather than the loss of 2 human lives, he made it about a beef. Trump said, and I quote, oh God, here we go. A very sad thing happened in Hollywood. Rob Reiner, a tortured and struggling but once very talented movie director and comedy star, has passed away together with his wife, Michele, reportedly due to the anger he caused others through his massive, unyielding, and incurable affliction with a mind-crippling disease known as Trump derangement syndrome, sometimes referred to as TDS. He was known to have driven people crazy by his raging obsession of President Donald J. Trump and his obvious paranoia, reaching new heights as the Trump administration surpassed all goals and expectations of greatness. And with the golden age of America upon us, perhaps like never before, may Rob and Michele rest in peace. I mean peace, because he meant piss, I'm sure, but he said peace. Listen, at this point, even some of his most staunch supporters are scratching their heads.
A number of Republicans have denounced your statement on Truth Social after the murder of Rob Reiner. Do you stand by that post?
Well, I wasn't a fan of his at all. He was a deranged person as far as Trump is concerned. He said he knew it was false. In fact, it's the exact opposite, that I was a friend of Russia, controlled by Russia. You know, it was the Russia hoax. He was one of the people behind it. I think he hurt himself in career-wise. He became like a deranged person, Trump derangement syndrome. So I was not a fan of Rob Reiner at all, in any way, shape, or form. I thought he was very bad for our country.
But honestly, isn't this on brand for this administration? This is just straight up disrespectful. So about the Reiners, here's what we know so far. Both Rob and Michele were both found dead by one of their daughters inside of their Brentwood mansion. According to TMZ, their throats were allegedly slit. That detail hasn't been officially confirmed by the LAPD, though. What they have confirmed is that this is being treated as a homicide investigation, and robbery homicide detectives responded to the scene. Multiple outlets are reporting the couple's daughter directed investigators to her brother, their adult son, Nick Reiner. Nick has been arrested and he's currently in custody, being held on $4 million bail. Nick Reiner has a documented history of substance abuse and instability. In a 2016 interview with People magazine, he spoke openly about struggling with addiction from a young age, entering rehab at just 15 years old and cycling through treatment programs more than a dozen times. He also described periods of homelessness, living on the streets in multiple states. This case is actively developing, but I'm following it closely. Every week we produce a full show where we comb through the internet, court records, headlines, and social media to bring you stories that matter. We post every Wednesday, sometimes more, but always on Wednesdays. So be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss a thing. I'm Naja Hall. This is Naja News. Stay curious, stay critical, and stay on beat. I'll see you in the comments.
It's Naja News. It's news.